I will first try to address the consumer protection and consumer financial regulatory body. We're all consumers. I'm a consumer, and everybody in America is a consumer. So fundamentally, I'm not opposed to creating a consumer protection division of a prudential bank regulator. I think we should. But I am opposed to creating it outside the prudential regulator, because the number one issue with banks, and it is a consumer issue, is the safety and soundness of banks. Today we have a lot of banks that are still sick or in trouble, and there will be a lot of bank failures in the year 2010. So the first order of business is a sound banking system that, one, can take your deposits that you can sleep at night with and feel good about, that will be able to make you loans and so forth. But at the same time, being a consumer, I think that they should look at some of the consumer aspects of the banking system. And I believe the prudential regulator, that is the regulator that deals with safety and soundness, is the proper one to do that. Well, I think as you look back at the Troubled Asset Relief Program, TARP, I opposed that from the beginning. One, I thought that a lot of institutions, started out financial institutions, were not too big to fail. Although they were big, we should have let them fail, and we would have been better off. It would have been a lot more efficient. It would have not been without pain, but we would be a lot ahead of the game today than we are. So my trouble with Treasury, that and the Federal Reserve, was the intervention there. I think we could have done better. We could have done it different ways, but only history will tell that, and I would contend that nothing's too big to fail. I think it's mixed. I think as far as our banking system is concerned, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, headed by Sheila Bair, I think that the FDIC has been on top of things. They've closed down a lot of banks, which they have to do. As a regulator, they've probably mixed like everybody else. I think the worst regulation by any agency was the Federal Reserve over the bank holding companies. Most of those banks, not all, most of those banks were the trouble banks and the ones that caused the most heartburn. Well, first of all, I was the leader in trying to make sure that Fannie and Freddie did not fail and did not cost the taxpayers a lot of money. Mixed up in all the financial crisis was the role that Fannie and Freddie played. Also the rating agencies, Moody's, S&P, Fitch, rating instruments, that is securities, investment grade, AAA grade, and all this, when in reality they weren't. I was the one that authored the legislation to bring competition and give the SEC, which they have now, more power to deal with the people who rate credit. SEC, we call them the rating, the companies, agencies. I would hope they would be privatized as soon as possible. Right now, in early 2010, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are probably the only people that are really buying mortgages to a great extent in the secondary market. So they're the game in town. But on the other hand, when we create hybrid vehicles like we call them government-sponsored enterprises, GSE, we're waiting for trouble, in my judgment, and I saw that coming 5 years before. I was hoping that we could privatize them totally, make sure that they were strong, and make them work in the market without an implicit guarantee by the taxpayers. That didn't work out. So now the taxpayers own, for the most part, Freddie and Fannie, and what the debt is going to be at the end of the day, we don't know yet.